If you're looking for professional day trading education, high-level trade analysis, and dissection, you, my friends, have come to the right place. My name is Pat Mitchell, and I have been a professional day trader for the past 11 years, and I'm here to bring you exactly that, high-level professional day trading education, all here for free on YouTube and on X. And today, I'm going to tell you and show you exactly how to make big gains on real small trades through the use of odds and probabilities and strategies. So it's going to be a good one here tonight. Buckle up, sit back, enjoy, and let's get into it. Now, I hope you all had a wonderful day. I certainly did. Give me one sec as I'm firing up my charts. Let's rock and roll. Okay, folks, so I hope you all had a wonderful day. And now that we are into the charts, let's get cracking. Let me throw this on here first. Sorry, guys, one sec. There we go. Okay, so for those of you that are just joining us, these blue levels always represent, they're plotted, first of all, at 9 a.m., so 30 minutes before the market opens. They're never fucked with. They're never changed. And then I design trade plans surrounding those levels. And not only are the trade plans given, but also contingency plans, which means if those levels were to fail, how to manage the position out of that. So I always make sure that not only myself, but my traders are absolutely good to go. They should be able to manage it given that they follow those instructions. And today, especially on SPY, if you turn your attention to this upper left-hand blue chart, I just want to show you something. So we have a main trend. That's this pink level here. Okay. That's a main trend. And we actually gapped up over it. Now, I've said countless times on this channel, when we gap definitively over that level, especially it being a main trend that it's been working and working and it keeps getting stuffed into that level, you can take that long, and you absolutely should take that long. So there's a problem here today. The problem became risk. If you take a look at where that trend level is, so that is right here, okay? We also have a level there, which is the previous open. It's a great level. It's solid. It's super valid. The problem is that window below, there's no support. There's nothing. And when you look on the intraday, so the 1 minute, I mean, maybe you could risk off of the opening price of pre-market, which again is a fairly valid level. But the problem is you got pre-market range and lows in this area. So your risk on this, if you're going to take that long, now give me a sec, I'm going to give you guys a little lesson on risk and paying yourself. So if you execute, I got to turn that magnet off. If you execute long here, your target needs to be first resistance up. And that first resistance up was the previous day's highs. So you got about this much. That's how much you got. Okay, it's not a huge trade, but it's valid. But now let's look at our risk. So our risk is down here. It's almost double that. So your risk profile is inverse of what it should be. Okay, it's too wide. It doesn't make sense to take it. What you need to do is look for an opportunity short instead, or it come down to a lower price point. Okay, yeah, you have to. Like, those are the rules of trading, guys. Too many people want to take these emotional trades where it's like, oh, I knew it was going to bounce there. Bullshit. Okay, that's not how this works. It's through risk analysis. We need to analyze our risk first and foremost. And then if it meets that risk criteria, you then size appropriately for that. So generally, a way around taking a trade like this where your risk is wider, now I'll do that from time to time, okay? You would then size way down. Okay, so if you're talking about an initial starter position representing 100% of that initial starter, so whatever amount of shares or contracts you're using, right? It's 100%. That's your initial starter size. So if you have a risk profile that is really wide like that, well, you can use a quarter size position, and it kind of counteracts that wonky risk profile. Now, in this case, it's too wonky. So I would still have to be under a quarter of my position size. Okay, you follow? So what am I going to take? Like 10 fucking contracts? Like for me, that's just not worth it, right? I would much prefer to wait for a shorting opportunity, which there always is in day trading. For every long, there's a short. For every short, there's a long. It doesn't matter. As a day trader, it legitimately doesn't matter what the market's doing. There's opportunity everywhere, right? And that's really important to understand. You need to identify yourself as a certain type of trader. I am a day trader looking for short-term opportunities based off of technical analysis on first reactions. I can identify it. Can you? Right? If you can't, it's a problem. You need to be very thorough and just like pinpoint exactly what you're doing when the market goes live, or else you're going to be like a deer in the headlights, right? So, with all of that said, the long for me, not there. We did have a long opportunity potentially here on Qs, and it started driving into it. We wanted it into this level. Now, we weren't going to wait perfectly for that level right here at about, let me see, 581.15. So 581.15 right there, we needed it there because that is the first level of support that it can touch on the way down. It just didn't get there. So again, we had to lean on the short because a lot of the times when we do sell off, we're not going to quite get that because there's so much extension on the way down. It's looking for any opportunity to bounce up. And there'll be hacks out there that'll look at this and they'll say, "Oh, well, it confirmed at the opening price of pre-market." Well, you're not wrong. It did. But again, what does your risk profile say? So from that level, right, where you would have started in because it confirmed, down to here is about a point. So again, now you're risking down into moving averages. And again, it's wonky. Your first level of natural is here. So from there to there is what you would be looking to get off of it. And because you've now cut in half your profit potential, it no longer becomes worth it. You follow? So I know that this is a lot, but I really wanted to kind of get into the weeds with a lot of these topics because I think a lot of people miss this shit when it comes to their trading, and then they wonder why they're constant in this constant cycle and circle of blowing up their account, refunding it, blowing up their account, refunding it. And this is why these are all the problems that people have. So in today's case, I took 2 trades. Both trades were about that much, and we're going to go over it. Now, sure, I was able to get more because of my position sizing. I was able to work the trade down, but the majority of my position was stripped out that far and still managed to lock in almost 10 grand. So let me explain. So on Qs here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. Hang tight so then you guys can really see it. Okay. So market opens up right here. We pop into this level, which is a protected level. Oops. Thought that looked a little wonky. So market opens up here, pops into the level on a protected level, execute the short. We were going to apply what I call standard risk on this. It's one of my risk strategies. So more than protected on this. As it pulls back next candle, I lock in. So I was able to get this much out of the trade. It's very tight. You can see the initial entry on that blue triangle to where I paid myself. Then there's one more opportunity here. Secondary opportunity. It comes back up. It tests. Gives me a perfect entry right dead nuts into that level. I enter. Pay myself back down into this support because it's riding a real tight trend right there. Okay. You see how most of my size is now stripped out right in that little area. So I made the bulk of my profits right there because I know it's going to come into here. That's why it held that range, guys, and why that lower candle on that first wash candle came into this level of natural right there. Okay. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about odds and opportunity and the probabilities. I know because of technical analysis, if it tests resistance, it'll come down and test that support. It has to. Okay, that's just how this shit works. Or if it comes down test support, it needs to test resistance. Closest support and resistance, not some resistance level that you got way up here because you want it to go up there. It's not that. It's those tight ranges. Those tight ranges, when you know what you're doing and you actually believe in what you're doing in technical analysis, excuse me, you understand that you can get it from support or support into resistance and resistance into support closest. Okay. So I have this much. So if I know I'm going to get that test, I can apply pressure. Now, I didn't have an opportunity to necessarily apply pressure. That comes with the secondary trade. And I'm going to explain that one. But that's what it is. Now, most people would think, looking at the profit, that the majority of my profit on today came from executing here and riding it all the way down into the open, which I did. That's not where I made my profit. I made it from there to there. The rest was just icing on the cake. I'm not holding that much of my position all the way down. I don't do that because I trade into first support or first resistance. And that's it. That's how you see the consistency again that you do on this channel. Day in and day out. These are green, man. It's because I'm not greedy and I trade to a specific plan, right? And strategy. So that was the first trade. Then we had, this was a real beautiful trade, by the way, this secondary trade where you see my entry right at the lows there. Okay. Now that's real specific. What we have here, and I said, and I drew this beforehand. So while it was down here and started coming up, I said, there's two areas that this can come into. It's going to come into here on the way back up or here. There's two areas. And that's exactly what it did. So when we slingshot from lows and it comes straight up and it completely disrespects this or this resistance level on the way up, it has no choice but to now stall. So from there to there. So I enter into the trade here, essentially risking this, that second, which we'll get into here in a minute, and why I stopped out where I did. So I enter there and I pay myself fully out here. Now, yes, I'm still holding a very few amount of contracts here. Okay. But from there to there, again, this small little box, that's where I locked in a large portion of my profits overall on the day. Just that little itty bitty trade. So again, we have two trades that we're looking at. My profit zone is this much. That's all you need, man. That's all you need. If you can pay yourself as it's coming into that level and you don't hesitate, you can make a lot of money doing this on such small little gains. It's incredible. This is exactly what I'm showing you is how I make my money. This is how I feed my family. This is how I pay my bills. This is how I afford to pay for a house cash up here in the mountains of Costa Rica. Everything I have is paid for cash. It's through doing this right here. That's it. It's that easy. People, the problem is a lot of traders make it a lot more difficult on themselves because of greed, emotion. I mean, name it. There's a number of things, right? But this is all you need. These little bits, these little boxes of profit potential. That's it. That's all I need. And the rest, sure, I'm still holding some and I'm making more money, but I could have taken it all off right there and maybe it would have cost me 30% of my gains because that's all this extra stuff is worth. It's about 30%. So now let's talk about this stop out. So I wanted to stop out if it got above this level. I'm going to drag that over right there. So I'm only holding a small position now and I'm watching it. Okay. So when it popped here, I'm really watching. Okay. So this candle, you see that green candle right there where it gets above that level? And I gave a beautiful lesson on watching and not stopping out and top ticking that exit, or what a lot of people do. And it was a live lesson and everything that I was doing was live and in real time. I'm counting down. I'm watching the clock on the candle countdown, how much time is left. This candle closes. And if this candle opened and popped up, I would be out. It didn't do that. Okay. So it opened, took a quick little pop, immediately failed. You got to give it that fraction of a second longer. Once it gets back below, you're now safe and you wait. So then I simply just held until I ultimately, right here, it came into that level yet again. So on this candle, I was waiting for it to make a new high. And this candle had a lot of time left on the shot clock, on the candle countdown. There was about 40 seconds left when it broke it. So it's going to go into this level. Now, granted, it came into this level and pulled back. You can't keep amending these trade plans that you have. I'll give it a little bit longer. I'll give it a little bit longer. I don't fucking care if you held it and you made the right call. That's bullshit. Because what you did is you basically reneged on a contract that you made with yourself. Your word means absolutely fucking nothing, right? There needs to be a level of honor and integrity when it comes to day trading, and not so much to other people. Of course, there should always be honor and integrity there, but what I'm talking about is self-respect. When you make a deal with yourself, you need to keep it. That's what these trade plans are. That's what all of this is. They're contracts that we make with ourselves, right? If we say we're going to do something, you fucking need to do it, because if you don't, your word means shit. And if you can't even hold your word to yourself, your word is fucking trash. It's garbage. It's not worth anything. So that alone right there, that statement, if you are a fucking man that believes in honor and integrity, that there should spark a little something in your mind. Because if you're breaking your word to yourself in tracks, that's what it is. Every trade we take is a contract. It is a business contract that we have made with ourselves. And if you can't hold your fucking word to with yourself, what fucking good are you? Right? Your word's shit. You really want to be that guy where it's like you say you're going to do one thing and fuck, you never do it, or you fuck that person over? Yeah, you're a piece of fucking shit is what you are, right? And this is the type of talk that maybe some people need, where you need to realize that when there's money on the line, and sure, a lot of people right now, when you're learning, you're trading with real small positions. So you're okay with going against your word, because you start telling yourself lies like, oh, I'm just going to test this out. Fuck off. You're full of shit. You're lying to yourself. And it takes a level of honesty with ourselves as traders in order to actually progress. Because if you don't, and if you're constantly breaking your word, you're constantly just lying to yourself, fucking good are you, man? You're going to blow up. Might as well fucking quit now. If you're not going to work on that and you have no desire to work on that, right? And you think what I'm saying is wrong, fucking quit now, man. Like, I ain't going to make it. Remember this fucking conversation 5 years from now when you're fucking pulling your pud back at your regular bumfuck shitty job that you fucking hate and you're miserable, because that's what's going to happen. And I don't want that. I don't want that to happen. That's why I have 1,000 free videos here on YouTube. But for you, you're going to have to, if you're someone that only likes free, you're going to have to put all these pieces together. You're going to have to know when to use the expert lesson, when to use the beginner lesson, and differentiate between the 2 and the 3 different classes. But for those of you that are actually serious and want to work with a coach that can actually fucking get you to where you want to be as a trader, come to tricktrades.com. And on that note, folks, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Getting close to the weekend. It's been a hell of a week, man. So have a good one, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow. Adios.